welcome back to these videos that I do. Okay, anyway, we're gonna be discussing how is decoding really just overthinking. I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, you're just overthinking. You're reaching." Da, 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 da. Yeah, but overthinkers often are able to see things as I put on the glasses that other people miss or they don't see or that most people don't pay attention to or they just get a deeper what do you call it view of whatever it is that most people seldom overthink. So I would definitely say that I am an overthinker, but only when it comes to certain subjects. Only when it comes to things such as, books and, things such as, I don't know, I guess the occult or spiritual knowledge or, stuff like this. Like, these are some old, I don't even know what to call these pictures, I guess, drawings of how, they used to depict certain things. And there's a lot of symbols and codes in here that will definitely create overthinking. I mean, it is what it is. So if you are someone who likes to look at things like this and kind of dissect them and be like, oh, what does this mean? I wonder what that means. It leads you to the overthinking. But at the same time, you also learning a lot. And then you start to see a lot of similarities in other things that, you see. So like, for example, I guess these little circles with wings are like flying saucers or flying circles or, a UFO, whatever. And, the just all the saints and symbols and trees and birds and, just crowns. And a lot of this stuff is alchemy. A lot of this stuff is, secret society stuff. But at the same time, as I also feel that they put things in codes and symbols for the curious or the person that wants to discover a mystery, which really means my story, will kind of, dive into. And then, they will be able to see things from a different perspective. And it's kind of like through the looking glass, but your story, because mystery means my story. So if you're looking for any type of, oh, I wonder what this means. I wonder what this means. You're really looking into yourself. So I've always been like very drawn to mysteries or, mystery learning or any type of thing that most people are not, really just talking about all the time. So I love to look at art. Like Leonardo da Vinci is one of my favorite artists because he painted a lot of the symbols and the mystery into his paintings, which only an overthinker or someone that likes to overthink and decode would find certain things in certain paintings and give information about yourself and blah, 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 blah. So this of course is the Last Supper, but I call it the Last Upper. The Last Upper. Because a lot of times things are plays on words, and a lot of times things are reversed and inverted. So I always feel that if things are reversed or inverted, then what you're really seeking and whatever you're really trying to ascend to knowledge wise is really what you're trying to descend to in the physical form. So, like as your higher self and your lower self meet, then your story is revealed to you, which allows you to rewrite it if you so desire. If you so choose to rewrite it or go through it as, metaphorically um, as you can. And then after that, I feel that once you have returned to your, um, normal self, I don't think you'll be the same anymore, but you will have gotten so much more insight within yourself, as well as see how your overthinking and your curiosity and your search for mystery has brought you right back to where you started, but with a more um, passion for life, a higher knowledge of self and other things. And so you can really just go from there, and just make sure that everything you're doing from that point on is what you really want and how you want your story to unfold. And so that's what I've learned. And I feel that a lot of people who are on, this, curiosity path of the occult and the spiritual and things like that, yes, it will lead you to some very, very profound knowledge, but of self. It is a self-discovery. And through discovering a lot of things, and a lot of things about myself and a lot of things about other people that are, part of my daily or were part of my daily, um, it just shows you that, how you really see those people and how they may see you, or how you feel that they see you, because it's mainly a lot of self-reflection and dealing with yourself. So no matter how far you feel that you are, spiritually, there's always the self that you must master. And I've said that so many times in my video. And in order to master yourself, I really don't feel like we should be masters of ourselves anymore. What I feel is that we should be master of our thoughts. Okay. And when I say master of self versus master of thoughts, I mean controlling your thinking. And of course, on my other channel, I always talk about controlling emotions. And that goes together, because, thoughts and emotions are, you know, certain emotions or certain thoughts lead to emotions. So you have to be able to control those, or create what you want or how you want to feel by making yourself think certain things. It's not as easy as most people would think, but it's something that you must practice on and try to improve on daily, and maybe occupy yourself with something different, so that a lot of times the thinking um, that you may not want to be doing, or the overthinking that you don't want to lead to something that's not planned for that day, you might want to focus yourself on something else. A lot of people have an active mind, and they need something to focus on daily. They have to have something to do daily, or that, how they say, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So if you're bored and you just read and read and read and read and research and research and research, and you're not out doing, something else like that takes your mind off of a lot of things. Because sometimes when you read, or when you sit around and just ponder about life and whatever, it's like sometimes thoughts come in there that you are maybe oh, I'm so bored, let me think about this, let me think about that. I remember when I was super busy all the time, I didn't have time to think about a lot of things, and definitely was very productive. I didn't have time to think about what I did yesterday, or you know what's hidden in this painting, or I didn't have time to think about that, because I was so busy actually doing other things. But sometimes when you're at a place or in life where, your kids are growing up and, they're not babies anymore and they can kind of take care of themselves and, you're not all super needed by them. Or like if you're with someone and y'all don't have, too much in common, so there's no conversation to really be had, you start to kind of be like, oh, I wonder what, open a book or, watch this video or, get online and see what's going on. But a lot of times that's what will definitely bring you into the overthinking, and looking and seeking yourself, because everybody else around you is not, filling their role as company or someone to exchange, you know, communication with or whatnot. So a lot of times that happens to people, and I think during that time, it's kind of, uh, it's kind of, mm, I guess it's common for people to seek out other people to speak with, maybe online, maybe in person, whatever. But sometimes a lot of people do that, and um, instead of finding something else to busy yourself with, you start talking and getting involved in different new, interests and things like that. And sometimes, even if you're, a person like, me that has a YouTube channel, um, starting to read other people's comments, which is why I don't have them on right now. Um, Starting to read other people's comments is the same thing, because you're allowing other people's thoughts and other people's opinions to start to, I guess, communicate with you. And you don't really know these people. You didn't pick these people, eh, or you don't know them long enough or well enough, or maybe you don't know whether you can trust them or not. And a lot of times, a lot of people are talking and exchanging information back and forth, and it becomes something, where you're not talking to the other people in your life anymore, because you already know they're never going to, um, be interested or understand what you're really saying anyway. So, like, I come on here and I talk live with you guys because I know y'all are at least interested or whatever in the topics that I speak on. So it comes to where you start to seek out more and more and more, and that's where, you become, you know, to a point where you're able to go on a personal journey of the self. And I think at my age, this is when most people may go on that journey. I'm not sure, because of what happens in your life, kids, people, come and go. And so I'm having an experience that will force you, or not really force you, but I'm having an experience where it will definitely make you take a deeper look at what it is you should be doing or not doing, or could improve on, or could do without, and things like that. And even though a lot of those things are presented and you know them, sometimes you're still not going to take action on it. And the reason why I say that is because there's more people involved in your life than just you. And sometimes you have to think about how they feel, even though you don't care or want to, but and putting yourself first during this, self reflection will definitely help you see that. And so, if I were to act upon a lot of the things that I wanted to actually 100% truly do, it would leave a lot of people upset and angry. And as people that I care about. So I have to take a couple of steps, and I have to take a couple of steps and say, okay, well, each step that I take, and y'all might be going through something similar. Is there a compromise? Is there a way to rewrite this so that everyone involved is good with the the outcome, because there's so many things that I want to do, but a lot of things, a lot of things that I would like to do would impact certain people that I do care about. So I do have to figure out what it is that a compromise could be, could be done. But yes, a lot of people are very selfish, and I knew a lot of selfish people that made certain decisions, um, and that impacted a lot of people. And I often look back and I say, well, I wonder what I would have done in that situation. I don't know. So I don't judge anybody by the decisions that they make. And if I did, or if I try to, I often have to say, well, I don't know all the circumstances. And I wonder if I would have done the same thing in that situation, not knowing, anything, or whatever knowledge that that person had at the time, like whatever. So that's why I try not to judge, but I try to, put myself in, that situation, temporarily, um, just as a memory, whenever you remember something, or when you try to see through someone's perspective or get their point of view, it's like you have to ask yourself questions and say, okay, what the amount of knowledge this person had, was this the best decision to make at this time according to them? And if it was, then you can say, okay, well, I'm glad that I'm in the position that I'm in, and that I know more, and that I can make better decisions based on the decision that someone else made with less information and da da da. So I think we learn from the people that are in our lives. I think we learn from our parents. I think we learn from our older siblings. I think we learn from our children. I think we learn from strangers. I think we learn from everybody, books, ourselves mostly. And I feel that when we learn, and apply that knowledge, it can help us in life, spiritually, mentally, physically. Um, and it can also help us with making some changes that may need to be made. It can also teach us a lot about ourselves, so that, we can look at the people around us, or our children, or whoever, and see how our behavior could be affecting them. So my behavior, as far as, reading a lot, overthinking, decoding everything, that's something that I truly really was into. Like I was like, oh my gosh, what does this mean? Oh my god. I was just like on this, it was almost an addiction, literally, to decoding or reading about things I didn't know about, or just always searching for that next thing, and I know that the more I search, and the more I decode, and the more knowledge that I get, how they say the deeper the rabbit hole gets. It's so true. And it's almost like all the movies that start off like this, like especially like the Da Vinci Code or the Goonies. Y'all remember the Goonies from the 80s? It all starts out with, an imagination, or a wonder, or a curiosity, and a mystery. And then you get led on this big adventure. And then you go through all the adventurous things, and you learn this on the way. And, the climax of the adventure is, oh, the hero, the winner, the plot twist, whatever. And then um, the happy ending, and everybody is, grateful and happy that they went on this adventure, and they came out wiser, richer, um, you know, abundant, financially abundant. It just everybody learned a lesson and came out as a better person. So it kind of evolves you to the next level of your life through the adventure, because it's really an adventure of the self. So um I remember when I was younger, that my mom, she would seem like she was doing the same thing. She was always reading books or researching religions or different things like that. And I would think that, like, dang, why can't she just settle on one? Or why does she keep doing this? And I'm like, I see she was searching for herself. And she was, I don't know if she was close to the same age, probably a little close to the same age as me. But I think at this time in many women's lives, I guess men too, uh, it's like you do everything people want you to do. You build yourself up, you have a family, you do all the stuff that people say you're supposed to do, right? And then you come to a place where, okay, now what? And you start searching for something. And that something is really yourself. And what do you want to do? And what do you want to go to next? And a lot of people don't really know that they're searching for themselves. So they start searching for knowledge of self. And every type of knowledge will lead back to yourself, in my opinion. And even if I read anything, even if I look at anything, I'm always going to see me. And the reason why I'm always going to see me is because that's where my focus has to be right now. So, it's also like an ego thing. I feel that, like, if I look at a photo or if I read something and I can decode it and it means something totally different to me than it does to the next person, I feel like I have an advantage or something like that. And so it's like it makes me feel a certain way, and it makes me feel like, okay, well, I'm not on the same level as certain people, or I have to, find somebody else to communicate with that has the same or similar knowledge, or blah 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 blah. So, because this person just wants to talk about mundane things and stuff that I don't care about, blah blah blah, because you're really searching for yourself. And you're not, that person has nothing to do with it. It's just that you're searching for yourself and they're not you, and they can't give you answers about who you are. So it's not really that you're searching for people that are like-minded. It's you're searching for people that are going to reflect you in a way so that you can see yourself. And that's something that I also had to learn. And at the same time, I also feel that a lot of people will say, oh, that's karma. I still don't think that's quote unquote karma in a sense. I think it's just self-reflection, because every time you make a decision or a choice, or whoever you are as a person, you're going to, just like MJ says, man in the mirror. You're going to have to face the person in the mirror. And the person in the mirror is someone who's always seeking, and seeking and seeking and seeking, because instead of looking inward, you're always looking for the next mystery or the next da, 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 which means you're really looking for adventure or the discovery of self, which means you're really wanting to focus on yourself and do something that's going to improve yourself. So that's why I feel that a lot of people get on this journey, and it's fun, and sometimes it's not, but you have to come to um, the thinking of everything is within your thoughts. You got to master those thoughts. This is your life. You got to make sure it is what you want, because there's so many people that don't get to do what they want and end up wasting life. And I don't want to be those type of people. And I know a lot of you guys don't want to be those type of people. So, um, sometimes you got to make some hard, tough decisions, or sometimes you have to compromise in a way that people involved are not going to, totally be upset with you. And even if they are, it's like, okay, well, I know if I don't do this, then I'll be upset at myself later on. So sometimes you have to make tough decisions And I've always like observed other people who've had to make very tough decisions. And I'm like, dang, that must have been very hard. How did you do that? And I don't know if I really paid attention or listened to the story. I'm guilty of that, of like not really just, I'll listen, but it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, wow, that's, I feel that. I won't feel it. I'll just be like, oh, okay, if they're words to me. So I feel that if the next time I talk to somebody and they've been through like a tough situation and I ask, I'm really going to be like trying to feel um, what it is that they're or that they went through, so I can have a better, grasp of what it is, that how it feels to make a major decision that affects a lot of people. Because sometimes, like, I know companies do it all the time and they don't really care, but I don't know if they do or not. But companies make major decisions all the time that affect a lot of people. But that's business, they call it. But when something is more personal, or dealing with family, it's a little bit different. So I definitely, like, if you've had something, maybe if you not too shy to share in the comments, for other people to read as well as me, that would be cool of you to do. And just let people know, because a lot of people, I always tell people that I and I don't like to, say these words, because I don't want that to be how I am for the rest of my life, I guess. But I always say I'm a hermit. When I say that I'm a hermit, I literally mean that I don't really talk to many people like in person much, unless it's like, the cashier or whoever is providing services for me, or my kids or something like that. So I really don't have any like, what you call it, interactions with people besides like the people that I live with. So, and I think the reason why is, like I said, because we don't have too much in common, and there's nothing I can talk about with them. So, and as I find myself sitting there very bored, which is probably why when I was younger that I would drink in order to be able to socialize with people. This is not alcohol, this is Starbucks, but I would definitely have to have, a glass of wine or something like that to become social. You know how they call it social drinkers? Well, I couldn't just have a normal conversation with people because I thought they were boring and beneath me, unless they were smart and we were like talking about the same stuff. Then I didn't need any type of alcohol. But it's very hard to find some people like that. But the point was, I was a social drinker, and if I had a couple of drinks, that's why I always tell people on my other channel, like, what if you're bored, you don't have anything to talk about, you have some drinks and you can talk about whatever. And so I feel that being a social drinker helped me be more social, but I stopped drinking like a couple years ago. Not even wine. And like I had gone through like just being bored and like really just diving into reading and researching and doing all this stuff. But it's like, oh, I don't drink. I'm reading. I'm researching. I'm getting this knowledge. Really, I was searching for myself. And you don't realize that. And here's another thing, like, you don't realize that sometimes social drinking leads you to people that you have very little in common with. And then when you stop drinking at all, it's like you don't have too much in common with these people. So I don't really recommend social drinking and making major decisions with people that you socially drink with. And if you can't really get along with people, um, or if you don't find them, interesting without drinking, pay close attention to that, because sometimes, it's not something you want to make major decisions with. Now, this is why it's very hard to, for some people, to have friends or to communicate with certain people or, you know, be close with certain people because their thinking is too different. And I don't know, I guess when you're young, it's very hard to find like-minded people because you're going to change, you're going to grow. And even if you're an adult, you can change and grow. So I think a lot of times we outgrow our friends mentally or you know, things that we have in common, family members, like as far as connecting and talking with them about certain things. But you're always going to love them and have, you know, everything else in common that has to do with family. But when it comes to, you know, someone to exchange knowledge and information with, it's like, I guess that's when you need the robots, huh? um, yeah. So it's kind of weird talking to the screen now because I'm used to talking to you guys live, and I didn't roll the comments on this live. I made it, you know, so where I can just publish it later. So I'm not going to answer questions because there are no questions. I guess the only question would be if you're on a similar journey, you know, where is it going to lead you? Back to yourself. It reminds me of the book The Alchemist. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He went on this major journey. He was searching for, you know, so much, and it led him right back to himself. And he woke up from his dream and realized what he wanted to do, and he went to go do that. Instead of thinking about it or searching for this and that, what he really wanted was someone like what was her name, Fatima. What he really wanted was the lady at the well, or whatever that was. So whatever that's a metaphor for, I'm not going to try to overthink it. I'm just, if you've read the book, you know. Um, and I think that's also a reason why, you know, the internet and social media and all those things like that are so popular because it allows you to connect to different people all over the world, all over here, you know, of different backgrounds, ages, and things like that, so that you can exchange information and knowledge. And still, it's always going to lead you back to yourself and what you truly probably want, but need to make a decision about what it is or what you're going to do about those things that you want. So everything leads back to yourself. And if you are a person that is very um, judgmental or very hard on yourself, the journey may be a little bit harder for you, or your research and your overthinking may be a little bit harder on you. But if you know, pretty much love yourself, if you pretty much know, you know, what you really want and things like that, it's not as bad. But I know for some people, it could be, because I watched a lot of people go through something similar, but I didn't know what they were going through at the time. But now I think I do. So and a lot of times it led to a lot of issues and self um, you know, judgment or things like that. So if you see someone, you know, going through a lot of weird self judgment, you know, I don't know what advice you could give them, but just don't be so hard on yourself. That's the best thing I could say, because I guess that's may help them. I don't know, but it also helps you face what people may or may not think about you, and it also allows you not to care anymore about what people think about you because it's your life, and it allows you to realize that like a lot of this spiritual knowledge or knowledge of, you know, the supernatural or things like that, sciences and all those things, it's really just like the universe. It's just another reflection of you. You know, that's all the universe does. It multiplies itself, and it always leads back to you. No matter how far you search, it's always going to lead back to you as an individual. So that's another thing. Like you could be so interested in something, you can go to school for years and be interested in some type of science or whatever, and if you get deep into the mysteries of it, it's all going to lead back to you. And yes, you'll be a expert at certain topics and knowledge, but if you have, searched the mysteries, you know that all that knowledge definitely leads back to you. But also, you can apply it in the world as well, teach it, da da da. But at the same time, when you get to a point where the knowledge and the research and the reading and the overthinking is kind of all you're doing, you're going to start to enter into that world, which is like through the looking glass, and you will start to see yourself because you've opened up a realm of mystery, which, like I said, means my story. And your story is going to replicate just like everything replicates. You're going to see your story in everything. And when you see your story unfolding everywhere and everything, you're getting different perspectives of it. You're getting to peep this story with different characters, but similar situation. You're going to get to see this story, which is, maybe a temporary situation in your life that is very relevant at this time. And so you're going to just start to see everything as a reflection. And when you're done, or, I don't know if you ever truly ever get done, but when you are, when you're back to you and not in that realm anymore, when you're starting to wander, and it's like, oh no, how deep does the rabbit hole go? Like on the Matrix, when Neo was at his desk bored and he's searching for Morpheus. He was bored with his life. He knew he needed to make some changes, blah, 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 blah. So he started searching, and the adventure opened up for him. So it's kind of like that. There's also this movie, it's called The Escape Room. And it reminds me of this topic that I'm speaking about. So the escape room is just like, they got a bunch of these people, and they were all from all walks of life. One was like probably a criminal, one was really smart, one was just the average person. And they all got them into this escape room, and they had to escape using the clues and hints or whatever. And anyway, I don't want to spoil the movie, but only a couple of people survived. And one of the people that survived kept in touch with the other one, and she was like, it's starting up again. Do you want to be involved? And so, like, it means she was now trying to open the rabbit hole back up again. And just watch the movie. It's called The Escape Room. I don't want to give it it's pretty good. I would watch it again. I guess when I had some free time, but I definitely recommend it. So everything, like, if I if you're a spiritual person, if you have a lot of spiritual knickknacks, objects, they're all reflections of you. They're all bits and pieces of you. They're all telling you something about yourself. They're all a piece of the puzzle. I got a lot of stuff. I got a big puzzle. Okay. I'm like, ooh, do I even want to? Okay, I did it. Yes. Okay, so I'm not going to sit here and overthink and analyze every piece of the puzzle with every object that I, possess. What I'm going to focus on is, what are the things that I purchase the most often, and what are they saying? How are they a reflection of me? Um, maybe you could do the same and see what it is that you purchase. You know what I purchased the most? Y'all are gonna laugh. Clothes, books, and makeup, pens, sunglasses. That's what I purchased the most. And probably coffee. Now I don't decode those things, or I haven't even really thought about it to decode it. Maybe I should, huh? Or maybe I shouldn't. Or maybe I should. You know, there's always a way to go deeper and discover more about yourself, or something that you're trying to tell yourself in a way that your mind doesn't allow you to tell yourself. So sometimes you do have to go deeper and feel like, okay, why do I keep buying something over and over and over? Or I have 1,000 of these, or I have so much I don't need anymore. Why do I keep doing this? What are you trying to tell yourself? Hmm. Um, why are you attracted to this thing to buy it so often? Why aren't other people? What's different about you? So it's very self-reflecting as well as what you buy. So I'm going to end this video. I don't know how long I've been talking, but definitely need to get this video out, tell you guys, what it is that I feel all this knowledge and overthinking and decoding leads to, which is not a bad thing. I mean, it could be for some people, but it's not a bad thing. What it is a self-reflection. Now, there's other things that, may happen as a result from all these things or all this research, but that's totally not what this video is about. This video is more about the mental side of spiritual, occult, mystery and knowledge and researching and decoding, that it will only lead back to you. And you'll realize, oh, I'm everything. I'm this, I'm that. And it shows you just how much power you really have. And it also shows you how you've been using that power, or how you've been misusing that power, or how you should be using that power, or whatever. It just shows you a lot of things about yourself, as well as the other people in your life. So, and sometimes, even though you don't want to blame yourself or you want to blame other people, sometimes you're still a little bit unable to do certain things until, I guess, you're ready for that. So don't rush. I wouldn't rush through any type of self-discovery. But I will tell you that I do have a lot of knowledge. At the same time, I do have a lot of people that follow this channel on YouTube. And I also feel that you may not know where all this research and knowledge is going, and da 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 da. If you are a very thorough person and you like to read, discover, research, this is probably where it's going to lead you, unless you are writing some type of book. And you can do that as well, but that's where it's going to lead you. I see some people that pour it out in a book. I see some people that pour it out in artwork, music. So it becomes a part of your self-expression as well. I guess my thing is a video, and also teaching. I do also books as well, but through the videos, more people that don't have a lot of time to read books can also, maybe find some type of help, or say, oh my gosh, that's what I think I'm going through. Maybe I should watch this video, and maybe it will help somebody. So hopefully that's what this video will do for many. If not, I'm sure somebody knows somebody that's going through something similar, and it may help them. They can share the video. But anyway, thank you all so much for definitely listening. And thank y'all so much for, trying to give me a lot of advice or things like that in the comments. But like I said, a lot of times the self journey has to decide what's best for itself. I mean, guidance is always welcome, but it doesn't mean that, you always have to take people's advice and things like that, just in case you're on a similar journey of self as well. So, but they are definitely appreciated, and um, gonna try to read them later if you do leave some comments. So, sprinkle, sprinkle. I'll see y'all the next time. Bye.